Good morning from wherever you're watching from. This is Mayegun, and I've decided to make this short video again as a follow-up to the one I made that seems to have riled people up just because of the language, like they said. They don't like the language and the rest of that, but I'll make this as a follow-up to that video. You see, we Yorubas, we have something called political correctness, where we always want to sound noble, as in sound diplomatic in what we say and in what we do. A sort of politically correct society. Being politically correct is good. It's good if it's working for you. But in a situation we found ourselves as a people today, being politically correct is not in anyone's interest. You okay? Sorry. So being politically correct is not in anybody's interest this time around. We have done a lot to massage the ego of the same people that destroyed our country. We have used all the sweet words, sweet approach and all that to massage the ego of the criminals that we call leaders in our country. So I, as a person, I am not a politically correct person, and I don't buy into this political, this political correctness that we do. Don't say that. Don't talk to people like that. Respect elders. Bow down for culture. Tradition is very important, and the rest of it. I've done my research, and I've realized that those who are supposed to protect our culture, those who are supposed to protect our tradition, the elders and the leaders, political and religious, they've abused this privilege and they have destroyed everything that we hold dear in Yoruba land. So I made mention of us mocking the Igbos and why we should pick up our own battle and let the Igbos fight their own battle rather than mock them while we suffer in silence. So I said this just because I've seen many of us who claim to be educated, exposed, and the rest of that, but they are, but are more or less like illiterate, people who can't reason right without using the religious, political, and every other vices that makes them feel better, tribal and the rest. Just give me 1 sec. So these are the same people that will come to you to tell you why you need to be diplomatic. They are criminals. They have benefited from the criminality. They have benefited from the rot in that country. And therefore, they will tell you to be diplomatic. They will tell you to respect elders because they are elders themselves. They are failed leaders. So for those who are still very much being moved about personalities and the titles and the names that you hear all the time in the newspaper, on the radio, and on the TV, I don't belong to that category of Nigerians who get carried away about the position someone is holding or a position someone held in Nigeria. I don't give a damn about that, because if the position you held never added value or changed our situation as a people, then I don't have respect for you. I don't have respect for those who had the opportunity of changing our story, bettering our education, making our healthcare work for all. Those who are supposed to create the job opportunities for the youth that they call the leaders of tomorrow. So I don't have respect for them. Whether they are old, whether they are young, whether they are rich or not so rich and the rest, I don't have respect for that. And I don't hide that. That is why I've been encouraging the youth to stand on their own, chart a new course, change your ways. Don't listen to them anymore. Don't even seek advice from them anymore. You don't seek advice from people who have failed. Their failure is out there. The failure, I'm talking about the leaders in Yoruba land now, the political leaders in Yoruba land. They have failed and they deserve no one's respect or regard or whatever anybody want to bring up about this political correctness and all that. Someone like me is not preaching in support of political correctness. I'm not going to be swindled again by this fake culture and tradition that we were told something else when we were growing up. But when we grow up, we realize that the same people telling us about our culture have desecrated the culture. They have turned our people to destitute in their own region. Education is dead in our own region. We are still talking about the mother-child mortality rate in Nigeria. The Yorubas are also suffering this. When you talk about unemployment in Nigeria, the Yorubas are suffering this. When you talk about insecurity in Nigeria, the Yorubas are suffering this. When you talk about poor infrastructural development in Nigeria, the Yorubas we are suffering the same thing. When you talk about poor power and then poor power supply in Nigeria, the Yorubas are suffering the same thing. Not just the Hausas or the Igbos or any other tribe in Nigeria. So if I want to demand for better life from my country, I would demand the better life as a Yoruba man in the project Nigeria. So that is not something that is hard to say. And when we want to demand for that, we don't want some elders, some failed leaders, some corrupt, stinking, leaders who are parading themselves, who are gallivanting everywhere, claiming to be superior to us. Nobody is superior to us. Nobody. Nobody. As long as we are the engine, as long as we are the strength of that country, the youth, this time around we will implement, we will make use of that, our numerical strength, to fight for what we think is ours. And when we want to do that, we'll use any language, we'll use any approach, together except violence. That's something I don't support. I don't support violence, But every other means, if we have to intimidate these criminals that we call their leaders, if we have to intimidate those who are benefiting from this system, if we have to tell them that it's either you do it right, or we destroy you, destroy everything you hold there. If we have to do that, we will do that. Because the time has come where pretense is a sin, is a crime on its own. Those who are still very much using their right hand to take from the government and using their own left hand to tell us that the government is not good, we know all of you too. Most of you are government contractors here and there. We know you. And we have done so much background check on so many leaders in Yoruba land today, across Yoruba land. And we know where they stand. And we know where to strike them. We know where to get them. But before we do that, we need a properly oriented youth, an army of enlightened, educated youth that will go out there and demand answers to every question we want to raise. That is what we want to do. And for those who have been I've read a few comments on the last video where some are, like I said, complaining about my usage of word and the rest. You've not heard anything. You've not seen anything. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse until all these criminals you call leaders retire from politics. We have to, not just to retire from politics, we have to cut their hands off our politics. They've done enough damage. And then, this is our own future. This is our own generation. We will not look by and watch one old man and old woman decide for what we deserve and what we should get from our country, from our region, and as a people. That is why I'm calling on you as a young man. There's a lot to demand for. There's a lot to fight for. From right there, right there in your own region. Doesn't matter if you're Hausa, Igbo, or Yoruba. But as a Yoruba man, you have a lot to fight for. And political correctness will not make you fight it right. Don't let anybody dictate how you should fight. No, they shouldn't dictate that. Not even those old men who are telling us to take it easy. They can't tell us what to do. They have failed, and they will love us to be like them. They will want us to end up like them, where we will have to be walking about in fear of our government. The same people you put in power, you become so afraid, so scared of them. That is what they want, and that is not what we want. So they will not tell us how to do it. They will not tell us how to go about it. We choose how to go about our struggle, our fight, our freedom, and our liberation. So any old man that is above 50 should turn himself to an observer in this struggle, or else probably is going to end up being consumed by the inferno of rage and anger in our eyes, in our minds, to fight oppression. Because that future they're talking about, we know they won't give us. We have to take it. So if you are watching me this morning, and then probably you will watch me later after this video, you have a role to play. And to play that role, you must take off the garb. You must take off the garment of PDP, APC, and this and that. All these things are not in your own interest. Until you know that and realize that, they won't stop swindling you, defrauding you, and taking from you without remorse. Not until you stand up, be the leader you want in your community. Reject money politics. Reject godfatherism, tribalism, and the political sentiment and all that. Reject them if your future truly matters to you. But for those who are going to still abuse me after watching this video, I won't say I'm sort of sorry for you, because I won't have to pity you. You know why? Just like many of us are victims of this bad governance in Nigeria, you are also a victim. So wherever angle or wherever you are sitting right now, and then passing that judgment like, they should just keep quiet. We won't keep quiet. We won't go away easily until the last man is liberated. And when we talk of liberation, we're talking of liberation of the mind. Your mindset towards leadership must change. We won't follow the old order. We will chart a new course. Whether they like it or not, it is going to happen. They either give way or we send them away. That is exactly what's going to happen. Until I see you next time. Start preparing. It is coming. And nobody can stop it. Nobody. Bye from now.